A little bit of background for me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Danny Ihara. We have a large team in Hawaii. We're the number one Keller Williams team in the state. We've been in our top 100 in Hawaii for the last, actually, it's 17 years, not 16. And just in December, we closed our over $1 billion of real estate sales over my career, which is a pretty big number. But we did it. The reason why that's important, we did it under one model, under the wealthy older adult. Right? And today we're going to talk about how do you elevate your knowledge and value with these strategies. We've served over 1,500 families and back up, Capel. And we've served over 1,500 families during this time period. And we started a community. Gary Keller asked me to start a community with him called Keller Williams Real Estate Planner. And our MAPS group coaching class is really designed to help you understand where we are and where we're going with this. And anybody can join in any affiliation. I'm also a MAPS coach, and that's what we're talking about today, our MAPS group coaching class that will be launched very shortly. And as well as I'm a business coach and MAPS coach and an investor in a couple market centers in Hawaii. Yeah, and they call me a 60-year-old surf rat. I surf every day when it's not raining. Lately, it's been raining here. Next slide, please. So what's our goal today? Our goal is to help you understand where you can find 59% of all the listings. In the marketplace today, 59% of all listings are baby boomers and their parents. And then we're going to show you how to attract them. How do you find them motivated, right? Because in today's world, that's the challenge, finding listings for motivated sellers, right? We want to share with you what the size of this opportunity is, which is massive. And a lot of our real estate agents are missing this market, right? We're going to talk about elevating your value and how do you differentiate yourself from the competition, mainly because in today's world, that's what it's going to take. If you sound and look like everybody else, you're going to compete with everybody else. If you sound and look different and you bring more value, you're going to elevate yourself to a point where they're going to pick you because of your knowledge of how to help them provide a solution to their problems. And then we're going to show you some systems, models, and tools that we've used over the 19 years of helping over 1,500 families sell real estate. Next slide, please. So what is the opportunity? Keep in mind, if you look at 65 years and older, I'm 60 this year. Gosh, that sounds so old, right? It's not. It's the new 40. But anyways, there's 11,200 adults turning 65 every single day. That's huge, ladies and gentlemen. So why are most realtors missing this market? Because they're looking at different markets that really aren't helping them build a business, right? That's about a third of all population are baby boomers. And right now, there's 73 million of us out there. I'm the second to the last year of baby boomers in the marketplace. Here's another staggering statistic that you want to know is this year, in the next 12 months, 2.1 million older adults are going to die, and 80% of them own real estate. That takes you to 1.6 potential listings hitting the market in either the form of a trust sale or a probate sale. And we're going to teach you how to have a different conversation to elevate your knowledge on trust sales and probate sales that are going to attract them. Another staggering statistic is that 2.2 million older adults are going to retire this year over the age of 65. That's a huge retirement pool of people. And what happens when people retire? That's right. They consider downsizing, decluttering, moving, and selling their home. All right, next slide. So since the last 19 years, this is the only model that we've done. It's focused on this one model. Now, here's another staggering statistic is right now we're going to be in the middle of the largest transition of wealth the world's ever seen before. $70 trillion are going to be transferred in this generation. And a lot of that's in real estate. Okay? So my point is you can either be on the outside looking at all this transfer, or you can be right in the middle and taking advantage of this transfer of wealth, and you're going to help provide solutions to folks, right? And that's what we're going to teach you in our group coaching class called Securing Listings with the Wealthy. Because what we've done is we bottled up 19 years of systems, models, and tools, and we're going to lay it out for you. Because it'll happen in every single market in America. In fact, most of this happens in every single market in the world. if you think about it. Because what part of the world doesn't have older adults? Right. Next. So why are they selling? Why are baby boomers and their parents selling? Well, maybe because they're going through life changes. And you probably know some folks that are going through some life changes. So the question that you want to ask is, how's your home working for you? Right? It's a simple question. You can ask anybody in your database. One of the things you're going to learn about my coaching style is I help people self-discover the path that they are going to want to choose. How do I help them self-discover it? I ask questions and allow them to tell me what they want. See, the old traditional sales route is you talk at somebody and you tell them what you want them to believe. And that's old school now. For those of you who are fans of Phil Jones, like I am, and I've been a fan of Phil Jones for many years, um, I help people self-discover a path by asking them questions that I know will help them. Right. So the first question is, um, what's going to happen if you can't stay home any longer? Right? Where do you go? Right? And so it makes them start thinking about at some point in their life, they're going to have to move. Right? Right? Should we be blessed to live long enough, we're all going to need some level of help and care. And that care is going to be very expensive in your home. So we talk about, so when your home's not working for you well, where do you go? Right? How much does that cost? What does life look like? How do you get there? Who can help you? We have built a model around this market, right? And we're going to teach you how to do that, because your solutions that you have in your current marketplace can be the solutions for your client, but you have to be the quarterback, the shepherd of this solution, right? Because their home is typically the first thing they consider, right? That it's not working for them. At some point, they're going to have a health concern and they got to move. The second thing that comes up is their investment properties. So here's your first question to anybody in your database. Do you own more than one property? How simple is this question? See, I used to ask the question, do you own an investment property? And people said no. And then 15 minutes later, they said, what about my other property? I said, what do you mean? You said you didn't have an investment property. And they go, oh, no, it's not an investment property. It's my mom's old house. It's vacant. You see, because in every city that I go to, there's hundreds of homes that are vacant. Why? Because somebody passed away and the heirs didn't figure out what to do with it. Yeah, that's a non-utilized asset that we can help build and protect and transfer wealth with. So the older adult says, "Do I own one or the property?" And the answer is yes. And then we start asking them about questions regarding their property. How is it going? What you're going to find is there's this thing that I've coined the terrible T's, right? The tenants, the toilets, the trash, the taxes, termites. It could even be TROs, temporary restraining orders, because it's happened when you've got bad tenants, right? It can be that bad. Well, believe it or not, in many markets, investment properties actually have become a problem in many states, in particular in the state of California and the state of New York. Most of these laws are tilted to who? The tenant, right? And so now keep in mind, you're 85 years old. Now you got a problem with the tenant. You don't need the money. You just want to get rid of it. But they don't want to pay capital gains tax. And that's what you need to learn. The most underutilized tool in real estate in America today is a 1031 exchange. Most realtors don't know it. Most people have never done it. We've mastered it. We've trained it for 18 years. Right? We have a certification now in our course for that. Right? So they're tired of managing their properties, and some of them are coming to us because they don't want to fix up the roof anymore. They've got tons of deferred maintenance. Remember, it's an old house. They never really did anything with, and they just had passive income, or what they'll tell you is, well, little Johnny's been there for 35 years. You know that little Johnny's not paying market value, right? It's underperforming, right? And so these investment properties are a big part of our business today. I would say more than half of our business is a 1031 exchange. Here's a cool thing about a 1031 exchange. You have a seller and you have a buyer that's motivated. It's the same person. Now, if they're older adult, chances are they have no debt, which means they don't need a mortgage when they buy. Imagine that. Having a motivated seller, it has a time frame that they have to sell, and they got cash. It's the best market you can be in today, right? Because the biggest problem realtors have today is the interest rate. Not for us. because we don't get a loan on many of our cases because our clients are paying in cash, right? And that's the market you want. So we're going to teach you how to find those guys. And then transferring wealth is a big problem because they all know that families are going to fight over real estate. They've heard of it. In fact, 70% of families are going to fight over real estate. So they're concerned about their family disputes and they just don't want to pay capital gains taxes. We provide those solutions, and you too can. We're going to teach you how to do that through this class called Securing Listings with the Wealthy. Next slide. So, what do you need to know to attract them? Well, when it comes to their downsizing in their home, you have to understand their solutions. Where do they go, right? And the biggest solution for us has been retirement communities. Now, retirement communities is a huge area that most people are not focused on. By the way, it's one of the largest, fastest growing industries in real estate today because this growing number of baby boomers, 11,200 every single day, got to find somewhere else to go, right? And so they're going to retirement communities where they can live an active lifestyle or they can get assistance. Those are different levels of care is independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, and memory care. Those are the basic levels of care that are out there. So when you understand this, when you understand in your marketplace all of the solutions that you can go to, people are going to come to you because they need help. They have a problem, they can't stay home, and they need somebody to tell them where to go. And we built a model around being the placement company of choice for people. People call us. And not only people, their children call us, the adults call us, the state of Hawaii calls us, the city and county of Honolulu calls us. Why? Because we've proven to the world that we can provide those solutions. You can too. Because there's this funny thing that came out a number of years ago. It's called Google. Put in your Google retirement communities near me. You're going to find them all. Make a list of them. We're going to teach you in this class how to build a model around gathering the information, sharing the information, and providing a solution for folks, right? And really, it's really the solution to make a smoother transition. So you need some support around you, right? You need companies that are part of an industry called the National Association of Senior Move Managers, NASM. Google it. You're going to find them. Put your zip code in there, and they'll tell you exactly who they are. Now, these are licensed and bonded and certified people that are there to help people downsize, declutter, and move. And by the way, they're the closest people to a retirement community that has a client that has to sell their home than you. So get into the middle of that business. We learned it about 16 years ago. So we started a company called Senior Move Managers in Declutter Hawaii. For 16 years, actually, I take that back. For 14 years, we moved over 1,500 families from their home. And out of those homes that we moved them, about 80% of them sold with us. We were the solution. Right? We still are the solution, except we don't have that company anymore. I got rid of that company because of other things that I'm doing. But we still have the solution, and we provide the solution. So that's the biggest problem is where do I go? How much does it cost? What does life look like? What do I do with all my stuff? Who can help me downsize, declutter, and move and set up my home, right? Because keep in mind, an 80-year-old person's really going to have challenges doing that. Their kids going to want that solution for their parents, and they can't help them because they're busy, right? So what we teach you is the questions and conversations to ask to get you an appointment and get you an agreement. Because in the world of real estate, ladies and gentlemen, there's only two things you need: an appointment and an agreement, right? To get that listing. Keep it simple. Ask simple questions. Stop talking at people. Provide solutions, and you're going to win just like we have. Okay, next slide. So what's the problem? Their home doesn't work for them anymore. They got to move. And we coined this thing called the complete solution. We've actually trademarked that name in real estate in America. And the first problem is, where do I go? So you need to help them find a home. Now, it could be a retirement community. It could be a small condo, a small house. It could be their children's home. It could be building an ADU in their lot. It could be a care home. It could be a thing called adult residential care homes. It could be a care facility. It could be memory care. Imagine if you knew all the solutions and you told the world that you did know. They will come to you just as they come to us, right? So number one, finding the home. Second is you got to help them process the change. Now, keep in mind the change it's massive. Imagine our oldest client that had to move is an 89-year-old lady who lived in her home 89 years. Okay. It's a home she was born in. She never moved in her entire life. Imagine how difficult and stressful that environment is. We made it easy for her. We were the only people that could help her. That should be you. And it's really not that hard. If you really care for another human being, show up that way. Don't show up with commission breath. Show up with a solution to the problem they currently have, right? The first thing is their personal belongings. So we use this acronym called SORT. Feel free to steal it, use it. Sell, offer, retain, and toss. Everything in your home fits in one of four piles. And then the owner goes, you haven't seen my house. It's got more than four piles. Well, no, keep it simple. You're either gonna you start with the retain pile, everything you want to keep and take with you. Everything else, you leave it. And then we help them move to another environment with the use of a NASM member. The National Association of Senior Move Managers is your biggest solution, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I'm a speaker at that convention, right? We own our company that was licensed through and certified. I'm a Hall of Fame member at NASM. I've traveled to Kansas City to speak there. This year I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm going to speak there twice. We're going to have a booth there. And what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, in Keller Williams only though, is we're creating a system that helps these senior move managers become licensed, and they're going to hang your license under you as a downline. And then we get to pay them a 25% referral fee. This industry has never been paid any referral fee. We're changing the industry and aligning it with a real estate company with people that understand what their older adults going through. That's why they like us. That's why they've asked us to speak there. And that's why they've embraced us. But prior to this time, ladies and gentlemen, the National Association of Senior Move Managers and all these move management companies, they don't like realtors. They don't like you. Why do they not like you? Because you show up with commission breath. You show up that you only want to make money and you don't really care about the older adult. You don't provide any solutions and you just want to take your money and you leave. We are changing that perspective in the world today because the National Association of Senior Move Managers has asked me to speak on a national platform on your behalf. And we're going to create relationships between the National Association of Senior Move Managers and KW Real Estate Planner, our real estate planner community. Okay. So part of the thing is not only downsizing, declining, it's also moving and then setting up their home, right? Because that's the biggest problem. Like, where does everything go? So it's a whole journey and process that we work through. And when you partner with a NASM member, they're going to teach you how to do that. That's going to be your best friend, right? You're going to communicate and advocate for them, and you're going to collaborate with their trusted advisors. Who are those? The CPA, the financial planner, and the trust attorney. We're going to teach you the conversations to have with the advisors that the wealthiest people in your world go to. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you want to earn a seat at the table. I've earned a seat at that table. And I'm going to teach you how to earn your seat at the table on who the advisors of the wealthy go to. Because those advisors now call me. And that's how we get a lot of referral business. Right? I speak at the Financial Planners Association, where all the financial planners go to. Right? I'm talking to every major bank in our state. I've spoken to every trust company in our state. We're going to teach you how to have these conversations. But the only way to do that is you got to build value and knowledge. You start with knowledge, then you execute by sharing this knowledge with the right people. Okay? Because I believe that the sale of the property is just a byproduct of what we do. Most realtors say the sale is everything. Not for us. It just happens to be what happens at the end of the game, at the end of the funnel. Because we start with placement, we start with downsizing, decluttering, then we go to moving, we're setting up their home, getting their home ready for sale, then we sell it. And then they use that money to pay for their long-term care needs. Because one of the first questions you want to ask everybody that you meet with is, do you have long-term care insurance? Realtors don't ask that question, right? So the questions that I'm going to teach you how to ask are going to separate you from the rest of your competition because nobody else is asking it. Okay, next slide. Next slide. All right. Here's another interesting point. Did you know that 34% of all households in America are rentals? And did you know that the landlord of these rentals, the average landlord owns 3 properties? Isn't that wild? And who are they? Well, they're not the 20 and 30-year-old. They're not even the 30 and 40-year-old. Who is it? It's the baby boomer and their parents. They hold a mass amount of real estate wealth in your market. We realized that many years ago, so we focused on it. We provide solutions to their problems. Next slide. The biggest problem is, and here's your opportunity, is the properties have become a burden, right? They have more money than they can spend, the client. They don't really want it. They built their wealth on the back of real estate, but they're in their 80s and 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they're like, I don't need it anymore, right? I got more money than I can spend. I want to get rid of it. But their problem is their enemy, and their enemy is capital gain taxes, right? Capital gain taxes is the number one enemy to generational wealth. There is no other enemy greater than capital gain taxes. So here's my question to you. Anybody you meet, have you ever asked the question, do you understand your capital gains tax liability? Here's the funny thing, ladies and gentlemen. I travel all over the country. Every month, I'm in cities all over the country, and I ask that to real estate agents, and no real estate agent raises their hand. Here's why you don't ask it. Either you're not trained to understand what it is or how to calculate it, or 2, you don't care. See, that's how you show up differently, because I care. It doesn't matter to me if they pay tax, does it? Because it doesn't impact my sale. It doesn't impact my income. It doesn't impact my family, but it impacts them. So if you really care about another human being, then you're going to show up differently. You're going to ask questions that matter to them, not to you. And when you help them understand that pain, keep in mind, the wealthy older adult, they'll talk all day with you about taxes because they hate taxes, right? It is their number one enemy. And when you show up to have a solution to their problem, they're all ears. I've been doing 1031 exchange seminars for, 17 years now. We do it every month. This month, I'm doing it 3 times. And every single time we do that, we get 5 to 7 appointments. Funny how it works. Because people aren't teaching it, because you don't know it enough to teach it. Remember, it starts with knowledge, right? And then it goes to experience. And then you can start sharing your experience, right? Then you become extremely valuable to the trust company, to the financial planner, and to the CPA. You become the most valuable guy on that table. And everybody's going to call you. They call me because I'm the only one that teaches it. I'm the only one I've done over 300 of these things, and I've never failed one, right? Consider that, right? The other thing they're worried about is their family fighting. And so what we do is we help them eliminate the family dispute. How do you do that? You divide it before you're dead, right? The problem with the fight is it's in the trust, and the trust says 3 kids share it. How do you share real estate? You don't. Hence, 70% of families, the data tells me, by the way, you know who gives me that data? Attorneys do. 70% of families are fighting over real estate today because they didn't plan on dividing it before they're dead. So we give them an option and a solution to help them keep their family together. You can sell 1 property and buy 3 or 4. And you can let your kids predetermine their inheritance. This is magical. And this is what we've been doing for this so long. And people are coming to us every month, every week. Okay. You're going to also find the motivated seller. That's a big thing. And the motivated seller that has to sell, wants to sell, but they got to buy within a certain time period. And guess what? They're buying in cash. Right? So somebody that's motivated, it's going to do 2 transactions for you with 1 client. The other thing that we're learning is you're helping multiple generations. You're helping grandma, their adult children, and their grandchildren. We're creating a legacy with the property, and you're going to be able to create a legacy with your business by doing this, as we have. Okay, next slide. Shoot, I'm kind of running out of time, talking too much. So why are sellers considering a 1031 exchange? Because they either want to upgrade or increase their portfolio. They want to relocate that asset or maybe the equity in the asset. They're going to exchange for a lower cost or lower maintenance asset, meaning there are some areas that the AOA fees and the maintenance fees have gone up so high. When you do an asset performance test to show them that they're getting a 1.2% return, they go, I think I should sell this. Great idea. I'd support that. See how easy it is to get movement on people? You're going to get movement by asking a question, not by talking at somebody. And we're going to teach you the questions to do that. Right? You're going to be able to relocate it. You're going to go, if they want a higher cash flow. Once we show them they're getting a low return, they're going to want to sell and get a higher return. Right? Once they realize, like, shoot, the roof's really bad, and then, gosh, the guy that came and said it's 15 grand, and shoot, I'm never going to get my money back in my lifetime. Maybe I should get rid of it. We have a lot of listings because of poor condition. We're selling it. We're buying them something newer. They'll never, ever have to worry about it. We're removing the stress in the mind of the older adult. Now, if they have land, guess what? Land's not typically generating any income. So I call that a negative asset. It's an asset that you own that you keep pouring money into. It's called property tax. Okay. Why would we have a vacant lot for a vacant house? It doesn't generate income. Therefore, it's not helping you build wealth. Okay. The other is a legacy with your property. We all want to bless our kids, but we surely don't want to give them the money, or most people don't have the money to give. But what if you could 1031 exchange into a property that your child could live in? Since you don't need the money anyways, it doesn't cost you any money, doesn't take any money out of your pocket. It eliminates capital gain tax. It could eliminate the family dispute, but more importantly, you could bless your kids today while you're alive, or watch them fight when you're dead. It's really your call. The last one is depreciation. So for real astute investors, older investors that have owned their home for a period of time, when they get to year 25 of ownership, they start considering, I better restart setting my depreciation, because my depreciation ends in 27 and a half years. After that, you lose 20% of cash flow, because that's the benefit of depreciation. And we talk deep about depreciation to a point where we're going to teach you how to have the proper conversation with your clients around depreciation. Any kind of conversation around any one of these bullet points you see is going to get you business. Okay, next slide. Okay. So what are the benefits to the owner on a 1031 exchange? You can defer or eliminate capital gains tax, remove the burden of the property, provide a legacy plan, eliminate disputes, increase income, and create true passive income. That's why owners are calling us to do their 1031 exchange, right? What's the next slide? Now, to you as an agent, what's your benefit? You're going to find motivated sellers and buyers, right? You're going to be able to help clients that are typically understand that they're not emotionally attached to the property. And many people start out by saying, I'm not going to sell anything because I'm emotionally attached to it. Once they understand how they should change their mindset around wealth and building wealth, they turn. But it takes education. It takes knowledge to communicate with them in a way that helps them self-discover that makes a lot of sense, right? And then your client, you get 2 transactions. Again, a motivated, strong cash buyer within a time frame that they have to act in. It's not like, oh shoot, I hope they sell in the next couple of years, and I hope they buy in the next few years. They got to identify something in 45 days, right? So there is a very strict timeline for this. The last thing for you is you can go to sleep at night knowing that you made a difference in the world. You help keep families together. You eliminated the family dispute. You allowed us to save hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax. And I asked the client, when I show them how much money we're saving them, last night I had a conversation. We calculated it was $150,000 that we saved them in tax. And I said to them, what would you want to do with this money for your family? And they start dreaming. They start dreaming about the life they could provide to their own family. Ladies and gentlemen, you can positively impact a human being's life that will impact generations to come. And I encourage you to join the movement with us to learn how to do this. Next slide. The problem is 70% of families fight. Why? Because you can't divide real estate. And that's the conversations we have. And when we have it with them, they get it, they realize it, and they want your help. Next slide. So how do you prevent family disputes with investment properties? And the question is, what are your options in dividing it? I want to show you how this works. So this is probably a 15-year-old slide that I built, and only because it still works, right? So imagine a family has $1 million property. They don't want anymore. Mom's a widow. She's got 4 kids. She says, holy smokes, I got to figure something out because my niece and nephews, they're fighting today over my sister's wealth that my sister didn't have a plan. She didn't have a real estate plan. So she comes to me and says, I want a plan. I said, great, we can help you with that. So what we could do is we could sell the $1 million asset. We could buy 4 properties of $250,000. It would stay in your name. Upon your demise, it goes straight to your kids. So what do? We meet with all the kids. Now here's how you build a generational wealth in your own business. Remember, the client was the mom, but who also becomes our clients? The kids. This is your next generation of buyers and sellers, and they have kids. So this is going to build a legacy in your own real estate business. Next slide. So we go to all of them and we say, hey guys, good news for you is we're going to help you create a pre-inheritance plan. And all of a sudden they got big smiles and big ears, right? Tell me more, Dan. Tell me more. So mom's going to sell $1 million property, and you're going to have a value equal to about $250,000. And with that, we're going to buy a piece of real estate that mom doesn't live in, but you can. Or you could co-own it with mom. What if George says, hey, you know that $250,000, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to buy a place, and that's cool. I'm going to live there. It's going to be in mom's name. When mom dies, I get it tax-free. He's loving that story, right? Now, Lucy says she's in a market where the prices are higher than that, and 250, that's a nice down payment, but I can't buy anything under $1 million, right? She uses that as a down payment. She gets a loan for the 750, or she puts more money into it. She now co-owns it with mom. When mom dies, she gets it all tax-free. We eliminate capital gain taxes from that family. We keep it in the family. We allow them to create a legacy today while they're alive. Or their choice is watch their kids fight when they're dead. So when mom dies, next slide. Next slide, Kapil. All the properties go to the rest of the kids. How can there be a fight now? They can't. These kids predetermine their inheritance, and they're loving it every day. And they're coming to you now because, hey, now Lucy goes, my daughter's now looking to buy something. Since you helped me, can you help my kids? Absolutely. And this generational wealth keeps transferring from generation to generation. 19 years of doing this. Over 300, probably 350 1031 exchanges, 100% successful. We have changed lives, ladies and gentlemen. We have kept families together that were broken, and we brought them together. And you can do that too. Next slide. Next. So how you do that, you can sign up today. If I were you, I'd take your camera out, click on the QR code, get some information. And this is how you sign up. For if you have $199 to spare, this is probably your best $200 that you can ever use. Because we're going to teach you the proven conversations and systems and knowledge that you need to build $1 billion business. Right? And it's going to start on May 22nd. It starts with understanding the opportunity and how to approach it. Right? Because the approach is the most important thing that most regions don't understand. Right? We're going to talk about becoming a senior relocation specialist. Now we all know about relocation. We think that's corporate relocation. But there's this huge demographic that's seniors that they're going to be relocating to. So SRS, Senior Relocation Specialist, is what we train on. We're going to teach you the conversations to have with the family, right? With the older adult, with retirement communities, with all the trusted advisors. On June 19th, we're going to teach you the 1031 exchange. Everything you're going to need to know to be able to show up and actually teach this. We're going to teach you a thing about DSTs, Delaware Statutory Trust. It's one of the few assets that are currently recognized by the IRS for a 1031 exchange that creates passive income. We're putting people into DSTs all the time, mainly because they come to us and say, I don't want the property. I don't want to manage it anymore. I just want passive income. This is how we're getting listings. with the passive income, right? And then creating a legacy. And lastly, we're going to end up on June 26th with knowledge of wills, trusts, and probate, right? Because 1.68 million listings are going to hit the market this year. And you can be on the outside watching it all happen, or you can be on the inside building your business and getting listings. So we call this Wealthy Wednesday. Why? Because this is the Wednesday that you're going to learn how to teach people how to build, protect, and transfer wealth. And you're going to build wealth in your business too. So we encourage you to join. It's 1 hour a week. If you can afford $199, if you got 4 hours in your month next month, actually it's May and June, because we take a break in part of June, in the beginning of June, because I'm traveling, and we're going to have this class. Okay, so I think that's the last slide, right, Kapil? Is that right?
Yes, it is last.
We are kind of done with my side of it. I know I'm done with my 30 minutes, but I'll open up to 3 questions. Who's got 3 questions that you're dying to ask? No questions? Then I'm good. I can have lunch. My beautiful wife brought me lunch. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming. We look forward to seeing you in a class or maybe in our community, whatever it might be. And we look forward to helping you build a business, helping
Hey,
you
Dan,
change lives.
sorry to interrupt, but we have a raised hand by Felicia.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Dan. How are you? Felicia from Naples. How's it going?
Awesome.
Quick question. Is this the only time that you're going to run this class? And do you have the dates on that QR code? Because I just scanned that.
The dates are on the QR code. No, my intention was to do this 4 times a year. It didn't work out so well because I'm traveling a lot for work.
Yes.
But we will have it again at least once or maybe twice more, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this different than the real estate planner, or if you join the real estate planner, does this include that?
So it's different from the real estate planner. The reason why we do fast track is for people that want to start learning about the model. And you can get it's kind of a cursory look at real estate planner. Real estate planner is a deep dive. It's a really deep, that's $199 a month, right? So it just depends on where you are. The fast track group is also open to anybody, anywhere. Okay. The KW real estate planner is only for KW agents. You must have $75,000 of gross commission income and 2 years of license in good standing. Okay. So
perfect.
This fast track is open to everybody. The real estate planner is a demographic that we're looking for, because in the real estate planner community, we expect you to know how to sell real estate at a high level. We teach you very detailed conversations to have to build a business, right?
That's perfect. I'll join today. I got it.
Awesome.
Hey, Dan, Freddie Garcia here. Just have a quick question.
Yeah, my friend.
Are the classes going to be recorded after they're seen live?
Yes.
Just for review at a later date.
All the classes are recorded. Everything I do is recorded, believe it or not. So in our group coaching, you'll have access to it for, I think, about a month, right, Carlos? I can't remember. Diego. And then in the real estate planner community, I've got over 130 hours of training available already. We're going on season 2. We're wrapping up with season 2. We've got probably about 130 hours of training available in recorded form that you can see. Hey, Graham.
Hey, Dan. I can help with that. Storms finally cooled off in Austin. You'll have 60 days of access after the last session, so that would be August 26th. And so you have time to catch up in case you join late or just want to get thorough and re-review recordings, and they'll be available in a Kajabi client portal.
Yeah. Do we know, we don't have any plan for the next fast track class yet, do we? We didn't put that in.
Not definitive, but I mean, if based on your availability, Q3 sounds good to me.
Yeah. Unfortunate September, maybe October, November. Early part might be good. It's just
early Q4. Okay.
I'm traveling 2 to 3 weeks every month, so it's kind of challenging in my world right now.
Totally.
All good. Thanks, everybody. Hope this was helpful, and look forward to seeing you in class. See you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Aloha.